All right. Well, it's always fun tasting wines with Dave because Dave knows more about French wine than I do. And, you know, it's always nice to taste wine with people that you can learn something from. And that's one of the reasons why I taste as much wine as I do, because I am looking to learn more about wine. You know, as soon as you think you know everything, that's when you stop learning in this business. And Dave has visited many of the suppliers that he represents. And to me, that's one of the most important things about wine knowledge, what I call kissing the dirt. Going there and actually seeing the vineyard, meeting the people, breaking bread with them, tasting the wines, getting into their head to see what they're thinking, you know, and it's something that, you know, to me is essential in really understanding the wines. And Dave, as I mentioned before, a French wine expert for Premier. He's kind of created this own job title for himself. I don't know if there's a similar title over at Southern, the other big guy, but these guys have got a great book of Burgundy in particular, and quietly, you know, they've amassed one of the greatest books of Burgundy in South Florida, with the crown jewel being Domaine de Romanée-Conti in their portfolio, and kind of a leveraging chip against everything else. But, you know, everything in this portfolio is good. There's plenty of great stuff to find at Premier Beverage in their Italian, in their French wine section. First up, we had a great producer from Meursault, Thierry Matrot, his Bourgogne Chardonnay, and a lot of great producers. You know, their entry-level wine is the most important wine to them. This is their calling card. So a lot of this fruit is declassified Meursault, even though he does have vineyards from outside of Meursault in the Bourgogne district that, you know, they use some of this for. This wine had a lovely crisp green apple fruit, lemon citrus on the nose, hints of that wet stone, kind of limestone you get from the Burgundian terroir. Focused and really on point with the bouquet. Crisp and refreshing white wine on the palate with that lovely citrus fruit showing there. A nice hand of that wet stone kind of minerality, and very nicely balanced. A well-proportioned wine, one of the first 09s that I've had of any major proportion, and well, a really nice little bottle of wine. 08 probably being as good for my money as 09 for the whites so far in what I've had. Coming up next in 09, Meursault from Matrot. This wine had a hint of kind of roasted nuts to the nose. A nice amount of ripe, delicious red apple and pineapple fruit there. A hint of toasty oak spice and a flinty note here as well. Lovely richness on the palate. Good amount of apple and lemon citrus. Bright, focused. A hint of lightly toasted oak coming in at the finish, and lovely zesty minerality. Really nice bottle of Meursault. Excellent at like $39.50. And then an 08 Burgundy. And Xavier Monnot, this estate's located just behind downtown Meursault, just behind the church. 25 hectares of vineyard, 60% declassified Merlot vines. And that's what goes into this cuvee. And then the rest, of course, is stuff outside of the Meursault area. But this producer uses a little bit more new oak. Well, the other producer, Matrot, doesn't use any new in his Bourgogne. But you get that vanilla and that polish in this wine and a little more refinement. Because of that, it's got a lovely vanilla spice, a little lemon drop candy, some stone-like minerality, and a little more texture on the tongue, too. A little richer with some more layers, and a little more expensive, too, at $24.75. Next up, the Monthely Le Duresse. And this is a Liu D. It's not a Premier Cru. I don't know if there is any Premier Crus in Monthely, but I'll have to look into that. Some lovely lemon drop candy fruit here on the nose. White flowers, limestone-like mineral nuance. A touch of that vanilla spice again, and some lovely crisp, racy acidity on the palate. Lemon zest, a little more austere, but a very nice bottle of Monthely. A little more austere anyways in nature usually. And then up the Xavier Monnot Meursault Le Limousin, another Liu D. Kind of lemon marzipan here showing on the aromas with some green apple fruits, lemon drop candy again, a nice touch of that vanilla bean spice showing up as well, and a nice amount of stuffing on the palate, man. One of the things I love about Meursault is the richness. This is the most California-esque of all the Burgundian appellations. A nice amount of minerality, though, to go along with that richness and some lovely fresh acidity. Good concentration and depth of flavors here. Excellent bottle of Meursault, $50. All right, next up, the Domaine Sainte Eugine Le Clos. And what the hell is this wine? I mean, it's from the south of France, and it's from an area where they don't allow you to put a Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon. It would be called Corbieres if it didn't have those two varietals in it. But, man, for $9.75. This is one of the best values that I've had all year in a red wine. Lovely black cherry and black plum-like fruit, some fresh flowers and fresh herbs showing up, a good amount of that fruit showing up on the palate, and just a whole lot of wine here for $9.75. Like I said, a really nice little wine. And then a couple of rosés. And Dave, I don't know, should I talk about these? Are these available? I think these two are available. Actually, he gave me a couple things that weren't available, but this is rosé season. Well, we're coming into it. South Florida's hot all year long, but Domaine De Gournier Rosé Vin de Pays. One of the things I love about rosés from the south of France is they're light and they're refreshing. And most people, when they see rosé in this country, they think sweet wine. These wines, lovely fruit up front, but finished dry. One of the telltale signatures that it's a French rosé, not an American white Zinfandel. All right, hints of black pepper spice and strawberry, red cherry fruit on the nose. Distinctly earthy nuance to this wine also. Very fresh and fruity with a lot of that wild red strawberry fruit showing on the palate and that lovely freshness and dry finish coming through there. Hints of that earth and black pepper spice showing as well. And then the Domaine Sainte Eugene Rosé Corbieres. And this is a really nice little wine, Cinsault, Grenache, and Syrah. Almost fluorescent raspberry color. Really interesting color to this wine. Hints of kind of sausage and black pepper spice to that wild strawberry and raspberry fruit. Light and refreshing on the tongue with a lovely core of red berry fruit. And again, nice dry finish. Good stuff, Dave Roberts. Next up, we've got Sarah Huang from Huet and Kirill Dafar Winery from Hungary.